Page 137, Minuet in G major. So we know what key it's in the title. This is a minuet. Remember minuets, similar to waltzes, usually in 3/4 time. And it's by Bach, but it's not J.S. Bach, it's one of the sons. I'll just go through the process I use for learning a piece of music. I'll look it over and see it's about a page long, although it's got repeat signs in it, but there's a page of music to deal with, and you can see it's in 2 sections. I kind of noticed these things too. The first 2 lines is a section, and the second 2 lines is a section. Okay. That comes in handy later on. Treble and bass clef. 1 sharp in the key signature, and we're in the key of G major, although it's in the title too. And 3/4 time, which makes sense, it's minuet. I want to take it one hand at a time. I want a fingering that allows me to connect everything with the fingers if I can get it. So starting here, so we're kind of in this position at the start, I guess, I don't know. 1 and 2 and 3. 1 and 2. Repetitious. Come up. Triplet. 1 and down. Okay, well, not too bad. Go to measure 10. Second section, you have two beats of rest to come up. 1 and 2. Now, 3rd finger here, this sets us up for a 4th finger again. Now we can go ahead and just stay here. 2. Sort of like so. All right. There's other fingerings, but this is fine. It lets us connect the notes, and that's what we're after. Now, we want to be careful on these repeat signs, because sometimes you're going to repeat and sometimes you go on. In the measure 8, the first ending, you're going to repeat that. You're here, but when you repeat it, you're fine. You just come up here. But in measure 11, now you're going to go on, you're here, you've got 2 beats of rest to come up. Just make sure you got all these covered. Then at the bottom of the first ending, you're here, you're going to repeat, you got 1 beat of rest to come all the way up here. So just be aware of that. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Because this comes up on beat 3. 1, 2, 3. Don't cut it short. 2, 3, and get up here. Of course, at the end, you're done. You're not going anywhere but home, I guess. Okay. Left hand, let's see what it's doing. It starts here. This is fun. F sharp now. Oh, what's going on in measure 7? 2, 1-5. You play with the thumb. Put the little finger on it. You get good at these, substituting finger for finger. But we want to connect it with the fingers, and this is important. And then on measure 8, you're here. Then you repeat, you're in position. But on measure 9, when you go on, you're here. Now, little finger there. See, it's the same note as you had on measure 8, but now because we're coming up, it's a different finger. And I don't like 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, but that's what they're doing. That's fine. We can do that. Rest. Rest. And the hit just come, thumb. Reach up. And repeat. So the kicker here would be in the last line. I'll measure 17, you're here, and then 18, and then go on the first ending, here to here. Can you reach that? If not, you'll have to lift up and move a little bit. Although you can do a 3-5 if you had to, because we did a 1-5 before, we can do a 3-5. And if you're going to do that, you don't even have to reach up and do a 3, you can use whichever. It's easier if you use a 3 or a 1 if you're going to substitute. Some fingers are easier to substitute than others, and a 5 fits good with a 1 or a 3, either one. And 2 is a little more awkward, and a 4 works. You have to figure out how you're going to do the finger substitution and which finger you want to use this point. But you can put a 5 on that if you need to. I'm talking about the last 3 measures at the bottom. It's the measure in front of the first ending. Here, going into the first ending, here. If I do a 3-1, then I'm ready. We plan these things out. Once I've figured out the notes and rhythms and the fingering, then I'll try to put them together, and I'll hesitate. That's okay. Rhythm. Go down to the 3rd line. Measure 10, you're here. I get the hands working together slowly. Then I'll go back over it, and this is where it's nice to know it's in sections, because I can just work on it a section at a time. I could work on it a phrase at a time if I have to. But the idea is don't keep trying to play this through every time. That's a waste of time. It's a very inefficient way to practice. Focus just on bits and pieces of it and get those ironed out. And then when you get them ironed out, put them aside. And go to other bits and pieces you can't play and get those. And when you can finally get through all the bits and pieces, then go back and put it all together. And you'll learn it much more quickly. So once I have the hesitations worked out, then the articulation, and this now something about Baroque music. A lot of times, and I don't know about this particular composer, but a lot of times in this period and before, composers didn't put in articulation and dynamics and stuff. That was part of interpreting the music, and musicians were taught how to interpret music as part of their musical education. And then they started putting them in. They got picky. But they didn't always put them in exactly as they go. Still don't. You get a rough schematic. It's up to you to iron it out and make it work. A lot of times they didn't put slur lines over bar lines. They wouldn't carry them over. That came later. So the idea of each of these measures being slurred like this, keep in mind they're slurs, they're not phrases. So you don't necessarily lift up before or after a slur. If you can figure out where the phrases are, then you can lift up before and after a phrase. But these first 2 measures is all one sentence. And then if you want to lift up, in my mind, this works well, just connect it all. It's just fine. Just because the dynamics will help bring out the phrasing for you. So I would connect this pretty much all the way through. For the left hand, they don't mark anything, which means, what do you want to do? Well, in this time period, the standard, the default was to disconnect the notes. They didn't disconnect all the notes. Sometimes when notes were seconds apart, they would connect those. And when you had a jump, bigger jump, they would disconnect those. Like that. Whatever the notes are. They do it that way. It's interpretation. I can't tell you this way or that way or whatever. You do it the way your teacher tells you to do it. If you're not sure, go ahead and just connect the notes. Just connect them all if you want. It's fine. And then the dynamics apply to the melody, which in this case is the right hand. Loud. Echo that. This is where the dynamics help to bring out the phrasing. The dynamics is loud. Measure 10. And then the last line of measure 16, you're loud. Whatever. The left hand's in the background. Just keep it in the background. And then finally, the speed. Well, a nice, gentle waltz. Think of a waltz. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. there at the end, I suppose there's a difference of opinion on that too. If it's a dance and people are moving to it, you might not want to be slowing down because you mess them up. If nobody's moving to it, you're just listening to it, typically it would be appropriate to slow down at the end of a piece. They wouldn't put in a retard, they wouldn't need to. Again, that would be part of interpreting the piece. You just slow down, but only at the very end, not anywhere else. Let's play this together very slowly and check the notes and the rhythms. I'm not going to do the louds and sounds. We're not performing it. We're just checking notes and rhythms. But we will do the repeats. So I'll give us 3 counts. 1 and ready and go and 1 and 2. Second ending. Repeat.